My name is Dr. Ashok H. Patel from Municipal Arts and Urban Bank Science College, Mehsana, North Gujarat. Today I have discussed about plant morphology. What is the plant morphology? What is the importance of plant morphology? I will discuss plant morphology. The wide range in the structure of our plant will never fail to fascinate us. Even though the angiosperm shows such as a large diversity in external structure or morphology, they are all characterized by presence of the root, stem, leaves, flowers, and fruit. Here mention the plant structure having two parts. One is the underground parts, it's called the root system. Another is the above the ground plants, it is called the shoot system. So the plant is divided into two parts. Mostly that having the various parts. Number one, the root system having root and root having the primary root, secondary root, and root hairs also. Then shoot system having stem, leaves, flowers, fruit, seeds, etc. The I want to discuss first root. What is the root? Root is defined as a descending part of the plant axis. It is the positively zeotropic, it is the positively hydrotropic, and negatively phototropic. It's developed from the radicals, the embryo during the seed germination. Roots are generally non-green and cylindrical. They produce only similar organs, secondary and tertiary root, and also the root hair produced from the parts of the root. They do not show nodes and internodes. The types of root systems, types of root also. Two types of the root system. In some book having three types of the mentioning the three types of the root systems. Number one, tap root systems and fibrous root system. Those are the main parts. And another is the adventitious root systems. Here, this plant is a taproot and taproot system. That plant having taproot system, and this having fibrous root systems. What is the taproot system? Taproot system it consists of primary roots means taproot and its branches it's called the lateral roots such as the secondary primary roots. Those are seen in the dicotyledons and primary roots are elongated from radicals. Here you see that is the primary root and those are the secondary root. Then fibrous root systems in the monocotyledons having the primary root is short lived and replaced by the large number of roots and the structure like fibrous. So it is called the fibrous root system. And these roots are the originated from the base of stem from the fibrous root systems. This example you know very well about wheat and some specially grain yielding plants. The primary function of the root, number one, absorption of water and mineral from the soils. Number two, provide a proper anchorage to the plant parts. Third, the storage of reserve food materials. And fourth, the synthesis of plant growth regulators. Second parts is known as the shoot system and that having the stems, leaves and etc. So here this is the shoot systems. It is a ascending part of the axis that develop from the plumule of the embryo of a germinating seeds. It's bearing what? Especially the branches, leaves, flowers, fruits, buds, nodes, and internodes. And especially two types of bird are there. One is on top, it's called the apical birds, and some are auxiliary conditions, it's called the auxiliary birds. Those are the rising from the nodes, and it's situated in a exile positions. Number thirds, the modification of the stem. Some special modification are required for the morphological study. Here, the stem modification for the special functions. Number one is the for food storage for the stem tendrils, such as thorns, phyllocladod, stolon, offside, shakos, etc. The parts, another parts of the shoot system is called the leaves. The leaves having three parts. Number one, leaf base. Number two is petiole. And number third is lamina, yeah, leaf plate. The leaf are arising from the node who are situated on the stem, and leaf having the three part. This is the nodes, and the rising parts. It is the leaf base. Then it is petiole, and it is the lamina. Here, the leaf having two types of the venation. It is arranged of the vein and venulates in leaf lamella. It's called the leaf venation. Especially two types of the leaf venation. Number one is a reticulate venation and parallel venation. You see, this is the reticulate venation. It is the parallel venation, and it is the reticulate venation. Here especially I want to discuss some special parts, the simple leaf and compound leaf. That various types of the leaves. Number one is a simple leaf. Simple leaf means the leaf blade is entire, and compound leaf means the leaf blade is cut at the base of midribs, yeah, main ribs. Here, the leaf lamina is entire when the incision do not touch the midrib. It's called the simple. So here, this is the midrib. Here, this is the midrib. Here, some lobe are there, but not touched to the midrib. Right? That means the simple leaves. Another portion is called compound leaf. Here, the incision of the lamina reach up to the midrib, breaking it into a number of leaflets. A bird is seen in the exile petioles in the simple leaf and compound leaf, but not in the exile of leaflet of the compound leaf. Here, this is the simple leaf and this is the compound leaf. Here, bird is also present. Here also bird is present, but bird here is not absent. When here the bird is found, that means it is not a compound leaf, it is a become simple leaves. Okay, here the lamina is totally insist and touch to the midrib, that means compound leaf. And especially the compound leaf having two types. Number one is pinnately compound, and number two is the palmately compound leaf. Right, so I want to discuss about two. Number one is pinnately compound leaf. Pinnate means like feathers, right? Uh, in the number of leaflets are present on the common axis called the rachis will represent the midribs of the leaf. The rachis is one types of the midribs, and he produce some leaflet, right? And it's become the feather-like structure. It is called pinnately compound leaf. In the palmately compound leaf, just like palm of our hands, uh, in these leaflets are attached at the common points at the tips of the petioles. So here that is the petioles, right? Tips of the petioles, and each and every leaflets are the joint on the tips of the petioles. So here the structure become like the palms, and those are like a fingers. So it is called the palmate compound leaf. Here the example of pinnately compound leaf is a neem, and silk cotton is an example of the palmately compound leaf. You know very well. What is the phyllotaxy? The arrangement of the leaf on the stems. It is called the phyllotaxy. So production, arising, and also arrangement both are there, the required for the study of phyllotaxy. Okay, and that having three special types. Number one is called the alternate, another is called the opposite, and third is called the waltz. Alternate means the leaf are arising alternatively or alternative manners on the stems. In this, single leaves arise at each node in the alternative manners. The China rose, mustard, sunflower, those are the example of the alternate phyllotaxy. In the opposite, the pair of leaf are arising. And you see here the two leaves arising from the single nodes. Okay, here also and then here also. That means the opposite leaves are there, right? Opposite leaves are there. The Calotropis procera, guazua, those having the opposite phyllotaxy, and walls means more than two leaves are arising from the single nodes. That is called the walls phyllotaxy. Alstonia is the example of wall phyllotaxy. Then I want to discuss about the flower and inflorescences. Okay, because the most requirement of the inflorescences and flowers for the identification of plants. So here the flower morphology is the most important for the study of taxonomy and also morphology. A flower is modified from the shoot, where in the shoot apical meristem change into floral meristem. Here, the flower is a reproductive parts, but it is converted parts from the shoot systems that having the leaves and stem a portion. It's called the axis, and the node internode are there, and leaves are modified into flower parts. Okay, the internode do not elongated, and axis get the condensed. That means the shoot system become condensed, and all the nodes are the totally arranged nearest to each others. The apex produce the various flower appendages literally at the successive nodes instead of the leaves. And when shoot tips transform into the flowers, it is called the solitary. The apical portion directly modified into flowers, convert into flowers, it is called the solitary flowers. The flower inflorescences are the divided into various types. Number two, one and two parts, especially number one types is called the racemose, another is called the cymose. The main axis continuously grow. Main axis is a continuously grow here, right? And never apical buds modified into flowers. It is called the racemose types of the flowers, right? And acropetal positions seen into of inflorescences. That means the flower are born literally in acrobatical successions. In the cymos, the main axis terminate in the flowers, hence is limited into growth. The flower are born basipetals orders. Basipetal order means the upper flower is the well developed and lower flower are totally seen in the bud like structure. So here that is called the inflorescences. Lastly, I want to discuss about the parts of the flowers. You know very well what is the flower. Flower is a modified the shoot for the specially reproduction purpose, right? So here you see that that is the part like stem, but it is called here what, receptacle, right? And that having the calyx, then corolla, those are the accessory organs for the flowers, and then the androeciums, and in the center situated, that is called the gynoecium. So especially here four parts of the flowers are seen. Number one is calyx, number two is corolla, number three is androecium, and number four is called the gynoecium. Here I want to discussing about the various types of the flowers. Number one, flowers are divided in three types based on symmetry. One is called the actinomorphic, the radical symmetry, then the zygomatric, the bilateral symmetry, and asymmetry means irregular flowers. The flower based on the actinomorphic flowers you've seen. The actinomorphic flower are divided in equal parts, equal have halves, yeah, equal parts. But in the zygomorphic have no equal parts, right? It is the two part divided in two parts only, right? And then in the irregular having no parts means cannot divide it into two similar halves, yeah, more than two similar halves, right? The example is canna. You see here the flower of canna. The types of flower based on the number of floral appendages, the three parts are there. That means the trimerous flowers, then tetramerous that having the four appendages, and penta means five, right? So trimerous, tetramerous that having four, and here more than four means five. The special appendages of flowers. Then the types of flower based on the position of calyx, corolla, endoecium in the respected of the ovary on thalamus. The ovary are situated as a superior. The gynoecium occupy on the highest position, and ovary is a superior. That means hypogynous. Mustard, cynorrhea, brinjal, those are the example of the hypogynous. Then the perigynous, in the perigynous what? The gynoecium situated downwards, right? And another parts, the calyx, corolla, and the androecium are situated on the superior position, and ovary is situated in a inferior position. And sometime what happen, those are the situated in a surrounding position. It is called the perigynous. But here especially ovary is inferior, ovary is totally inferior, and then all the parts are superiors, and they are produced grows from the margin of the thallus, and fuse with each others. Ovary situated in downwards, that means epigynous flowers, guava, cucumbers, etc. The parts of flowers, the calyx, corolla, androecium. Here you see the calyx, the corolla, androeciums, and gynoecium are there. The parts of flowers means outermost walls. It's called the calyx. It's made by the sepals. Generally, sepals are green, leaf-like, and protect the flower in the bud stage. The calyx may be gamocephalous, means sepal are the united, and polysepalous means the sepal are totally free. Here, that is the polysepalous, and here gamocephalous condition, as well as condition in the corolla. The corolla is the especially situated in a inner second inner structures, and the petals composed the corolla. Petals are the brightly in various colors, and it helps to the attract insect for the pollinations. Corolla may be gamopetalous and polypetalous, right? And the shape of corolla, color of corolla are the various in the structures and various in the various plants. Uh, just like structures in the tubular, bell shaped, funnel shaped, and whale shaped. Especially the estimation of the flower parts are divided in various types: the valvate, twisted, imbricate, and maxillary. Here, the valvate, each and every flower parts are joined with each other. And then here you see the one parts outer sides, another parts inner side. It means twisted, and one is totally inside, one is totally outer side, and another are the inside and outside arrangement. And then the maxillary, just like the butterfly structures, right? Those are the various types of the estimation, and it is the very useful for the identification of the plants. The another is the androeciums. Androeciums composed by the stamens. Stamen having the stalks, then it's called the filaments also, and it is the anthers, and the anthers produce pollen grains. And androeciums, it is the reproductive part. It consists of stamens and filaments and anthers. Sometimes it known as the stamenoids. It means sterile stamen. Epipetalous means the stamen are attached to the petals. Polyandrous means stamen are the totally free. Monodelphous, the that having in one bundles. Didelphous, those having the two bundles. One is separate and another is separate. And polydelphous means the more than two bundles. That means the various types of the arrangement and uh, arrangement of the stamens in the androeciums. Then last part is called the gynoecium. Gynoecium is called stigma, style, and ovary. Here you see that is the one gynoecium. It is the ovary, then style, and this is a stigma. And the placentation are seen in various types. Number one is called the marginal. It's in here. Then axile here, parietals here, free centrals here, and then basals. And the all the parts of the flowers are making the one floral pictures and floral formula also, and it is very useful for the identification of the plants and also study of the plant, and useful in the practical